Now, there are many different conservative groups that have as their agenda to cut Social Security and Medicare. Now, of course, they put it in the guise of, I'm trying to help Social Security and Medicare so that it's around for the young people. You know, but old people are taking too much money from the young. How could they do this? No. This is wealth redistribution. It's rich people who are financing this, as I'm about to show you. And what they want to do, wittingly or unwittingly, they might not recognize, they might not think it consciously, but what they want to do is protect their own tax cuts, which cost the government a ton of money. And they got to get the money from somewhere. And so they look at something like Social Security and they think, that's a nice little piggy bank that we could raid. Because Social Security right now is not in financial trouble. It has over a $2 trillion surplus. That's what they never tell you, right? So here are some of the groups. Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget, right? Well, Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget, do you agree that we should raise taxes so we could get back to eliminating the deficit and having surpluses? Nope, they don't agree to that at all. They just want to cut your Social Security. And then there's Fix the Debt. Also doesn't really want to fix the debt, just wants to cut your retirement benefits. And then my favorite and what this story's about. They launched a group called The Can Kicks Back, which is very unfortunately titled. And it's supposed to reach out to millennials, to young people, and say, come on, let's cut Social Security together. Who's going to be in favor of that? Which millennial is going to be like, oh man, that is a cause that's near and dear to my heart. Okay, so now they called it Can Kicks Back because, you know, one of the cutesy terms that they use, the talking point is, oh, we're kicking the can down the road and not really fixing the problems of Social Security and Medicare. Medicare does have some issues that can be addressed in different ways. Social Security doesn't even really have an issue. It's solvent all the way to 2037. What other government program or any program, what other company is guaranteed to be solvent through 2037? And even then, it gives you 75% of the money that you're due. If in the worst case scenario, we get to a point where at that point, Social Security has run out of its surplus, right? Now, of course, it's supposed to have the surplus, but they already spent it in the Iraq War, Afghanistan War, tax cuts for the rich, etc. They already raided the Social Security piggy bank. They don't want to save Social Security. They want to rob it, okay? So they're trying to enlist young people to do that and get them to be politically active and vote in elections for politicians who are in favor of cutting Social Security. Okay, all right, so they say they want to make fiscal issues a top voting issue of millennials. Good luck to you, brother. Good luck. I'm picturing these jackasses going to like frat houses and be like, hey guys, come on, man. You want to cut Social Security? Let's go up to the polls. Losers. But we haven't gotten to the best part of the story. Turns out they're out of money. Wait a minute, I thought you guys were fixing I thought you were the most fiscally responsible people in the world. Well, the idiots left their private documents in Google groups that were public, and reporters got it, and Politico reports that their cash reserves are $70,000. Okay, all right, that's nice. Oops, outstanding donor commitments, $75,000. And so it turns out they're going to run out of money, and in fact, they say in their internal emails, by April, we're done for. Now, when asked about it, I mean, you should have been looking at that Google Groups anyway, but yeah, no comment. We're kind of healthy. I think we're all right. Who's going to join this millennial group? Nobody's going to join them, right? Now, of course, what they really need is incredibly wealthy benefactors, the guys who want to raid Social Security, because they're not going to get actual young people to join this thing. That's why they're running out of money, and they're going to be flat out of cash by April. Interesting. So, Nick Troiano is one of the founders of the group. He says in the internal documents that were released, quote, without someone, something else covering staff costs and without fundraising miracles like Stan or Near Stan happening consistently, I don't know how we both sustain an organization and do meaningful things. Now, you don't. You're going to be out of business. Apparently, you can't even manage your own money. So, what a role model you are for the young. The Stan that he's referring to there with the Stan like miracles is Stan Druckenmiller. He is a wealthy hedge fund manager. He's now retired, and he made a lot of money on Wall Street. And again, I say wittingly or unwittingly because I don't know what their motivations are. My guess with almost all of these donors is if you ask them, they don't rub their hands together and go, we will take the money from the middle class and give it to ourselves. They will genuinely say, God, but I gotta have lower taxes for me because that stimulates the economy. It doesn't actually, but that's what they think to justify it. And they think, well, there's Social Security. Well, I mean, I guess it's gonna have trouble in 2037. It's unsustainable. It's unsustainable. We need to cut it. We need to cut it. It's really wealth redistribution. Maybe I'm being too kind to them, and maybe some of them do rub their hands together and go, whoa, let's take that money. But I'd be surprised because people got to live with themselves and they got to look at themselves in the mirror, right? Turns out Stan Druckenmiller donated $250,000 in 2013 to the Can Kicks Back group, right? And that was 40% of the group's fundraising haul last year. Now these guys claim to be grassroots. 40% of your money came from a billionaire. What's the grassroots part? But they said that's okay because they're looking for more donations from regular folks like former oil and gas executive T. Boone Pickens, aerospace magnate Norman R. Augustine, First Pacific CEO Bob Rodriguez. You see, very grassroots. They've reached out to other millionaires and billionaires. Obviously, even the millionaires and billionaires who have a vested interest in this are beginning to realize this one might be a bridge too far. I'm not sure we can properly trick young people into being on our side. Now again, another one of the founders of the group is Jake Parent. And when he was asked, hey, wait a minute, now a lot of your money also comes from a different group. That's the first one that I mentioned, a Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget. And their money comes from Pete Peterson, who's another billionaire who's made it his lifelong mission to cut Social Security. Now, does he rely on Social Security? Of course not. He's got over $1 billion, right? But if you rely on Social Security, he wants to make sure that he chips away at it so that there's wealth redistributed to him and his rich friends. Again, I don't know Pete Peterson at all. My guess is that he would be outraged by those charges and probably believes, no, I'm just trying to help the budget. Pete, there is one way you can help the budget. Could increase your taxes significantly, especially on your investments. You're paying an outrageously low taxes on that. I bet you're paying less than 15%. Now, there's a huge way you could help the deficit. You want to help that way? No. This is what my guess is. Pete Peterson's reaction would be, no. Don't raise taxes. Yeah, that's what I thought. You don't give a damn about the deficit. That's my interpretation of it. Okay. Now, so they asked Jake Parent, hey, wait a minute. Aren't you just serving these millionaires and these corporations like Pete Peterson? I love this quote. Technically, one can make an argument that we are. We receive most of our money from Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget, which has received large amounts of funding from Peterson. Oops. But even this Jake Parent character is worried that they look like stooges for rich people and corporations. So he emails to Fix the Debt, which is, the parent group that helped fund this in the first place. They gave him $200,000 in the first place. But he says, quote, Fix the Debt is increasingly seen, I think in a lot of ways justifiably, as a mouthpiece for corporate America and particularly Wall Street. Without diversity of backing from other sectors, it's becoming difficult for me to justify my role supporting such an effort. So that's not me saying it. That's the guys in the group saying it. He says justifiably they appear to be mouthpieces for Wall Street and corporate America. That's because they are. Now, did he feel so torn about that he stopped working for them and stopped taking a paycheck? Nope. One more quote for you guys. Due to the fact that we have become so ingrained as part of Fix the Debt, I'm going to have to ask that you remove me from the website and any promotional materials. I love that. So I'm going to keep taking my paycheck. But could you just not let anybody else know that I'm one of the stooges that work with you? Now, I guess in conservative circles, that's what counts as principles. These guys, they don't know how to manage their own money. That's because it just got donated to them and all they do is just suck that money up, put it in their pockets, and then they'll go home having accomplished, thank God, absolutely nothing. They're a joke of an organization. And yes, of course they're stooges for corporate America and Wall Street who love wealth redistribution as long as it's into their pockets.